welcome to my first video on YouTube. Today I will be making soap, cold process. What I want to do is I want to sort of replicate this soap right here, which I made around November, and it's a tiger stripe, cold process, and it's scented with Abalone Sea right here from Wholesale Supplies Plus, which I love this fragrance. I've gotten a lot of just raves about it when I make soap with it. So I will be making soap with that. I'm going to show you kind of my basic setup here for making soap. If you've never made soap before, I will do a future video where I show you kind of, safety guidelines when you're making soap, what you need, la-di-da-di-da. So basically, I've got my scale here, and this is KD 8000 My Way. I don't know if that's the brand, but I will set up links below in the description box to Amazon where you can buy a lot of this stuff actually. Here's a 2-pound mold I got from Amazon. It's a wood box with a silicone liner. It's pretty great. You need distilled water, but for this recipe I'm going to be using aloe juice right there. And then we've got the colorants we'll be using. I usually pre-mix my mica with water, but I haven't done that. There's a whole process you need to do with that. So today we're just going to be using the Winter White mica from Nurture Soap. I love Nurture. I will also link them down below. And the other color I'm going to be using for the tiger stripe is Siren Song, and it's just like this lovely blue shade. I thought it was very ocean-like. So I'll be using those, and then of course you need a good pair of gloves when you're working with lye, which is very caustic. You need to protect your skin. You also need some goggles here. They're kind of dirty. I need to clean them. And then if you want to go the extra step in protecting yourself, get a mask. Long sleeves also help. Ignore the crock pot back there. That's for hot process soap. This will be a cold process soap video. And then over here I just have extra tools when you're mixing your oils and everything. And here's like the separate containers I'll be using when I do the colors for the soap. And then the end, of course, you want something similar to a bamboo skewer here, and that'll allow you to do your designs and such. So, and then this container right here we'll be using to mix the lye with the aloe vera juice. So now that I've kind of gone over what you need, let's go ahead and get started. You also need to pick out some good moisturizing oils when you make soap. And you can kind of mess around with your recipe on soapcalc.net, I believe it is. I'll put the link below. That's my preferred soap calculator. There's other ones out there like from Brambleberry, and I think the Sage also has one. But I just prefer soapcalc.net. I will link it below. And so the oils I'm going to be using for today's recipe are castor oil, rice bran oil, which I've actually never used before, but it's supposed to be have very good soaping properties as well. Palm oil, this is organic. It says organic shortening, but if you look on the back, the ingredients, it's actually organic palm fruit oil, and it's fair trade. Now there's a lot of controversy about palm oil. The rainforests are in danger. You want to use organic, or just use a sustainable palm oil if you can. And of course I use coconut oil in every soap recipe I make. So there's that, and let's get started. Okay, so now I have all my safety gear on, and we're going to pour the aloe into this, I guess it's just a simple water pitcher for lemonade or whatever. You can get it for like $1 at the Dollar Tree or Walmart. And so I put this on my scale, and SoapCalc says that I need 6.87 ounces of liquid. So I'm just going to measure that right now. And when you're making soap, you do have to follow the exact measurements, because it is an exact It's kind of like a science experiment. Everything has to be measured correctly, and you have to have the right ratios for everything, or else your soap won't saponify and it won't quite turn out like the soap you wanted. I just do this in spurts so I can get it exactly correct. You don't want to pour too fast, because then you'll have to extract that liquid, and that's really not very fun. 6.80. And I just poured a little bit too much, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So next we are going to measure our lye, and I will be right back. Okay, so I just got my separate container to measure the lye. It's very important you keep the lye and the water or aloe vera separate before you combine them together, and I will tell you why in just a little bit. I'm going to tear out my scale to bring it back to 0. Here's the lye I've been using, and I got this from Amazon. It's from Molly's Products. It's food grade sodium hydroxide, which is lye. And so this is what I'll be using, and SoapCalc says that I need 4.58 ounces of lye. So I'm going to go ahead and measure that right now. And I've got my goggles on and my gloves. Be sure you have the safety measures needed to make soap. .58, okay. I'm going to measure that. Okay, so next I'm actually going to go to the garage. You want to do this in a well-ventilated area, so your garage or outside, somewhere where, or if you can't do that, just open a window. But in the winter, I like to just go in the garage and mix my lye into the water. Not the other way around. You never want to mix your water into the lye container, because you will have like an explosion on your hands. It kind of causes an explosive reaction. It will kind of just go crazy. So we don't want that to happen. We want you to stay safe, and we are going to be pouring the lye into the aloe vera, and I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, we're in the garage now, and we are, I'm sorry the lighting isn't that great in here, but my lye container is here on the left, and the pitcher here full of the aloe vera is on the right. So I'm going to pour the lye into my pitcher here, and I'm going to stir it. Be careful when you do this, and don't have pets or kids around, because you know, if it knocks over, this causes serious burns. So don't have pets or even any other humans around if possible. If they are, you know, make sure they're in another room far away from this stuff. I'm going to pour this in here. And this stuff gets very, very hot as well. Right now I'm just going to stir this up a little bit. And we'll just, this produces fumes as well, so make sure you have your mask on. Don't breathe in the fumes. Stir this up in for just a little bit. I kind of just let this sit out here for a little bit while the fumes are dissipating. And I'll come back out here to get it in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm back, you guys. So I did something kind of stupid. I didn't check the amount of palm oil that I had left, and it turns out I only had about half the amount that I needed for this recipe. That's okay though, because I had lard on hand. Lard is great in soap. This will not be a vegan recipe though, as I had intended originally, but that's all right. So as you can see, I had to modify this a little bit with the calculations and everything. It turned out a little bit different, but it's going to be castor oil, coconut oil, palm oil, rice bran oil, and lard. So far I have measured my lard and my palm oil, and I'll be doing the coconut oil next. So hang on just a little bit. So now I have all my hard oils / butters in this bowl. And next I'm going to measure my liquid oils in this container right here. So I will go ahead and start with the castor oil. So I need to tear this out. $1.55. $1.6, okay. Then I need rice bran oil. And there's quite a bit of this that I need to put in here. Once again, tear out your scale. This is going to use up a good chunk of my rice bran oil, so hopefully this recipe will turn out how I want it to, and it won't be a waste. Alright, perfect. So my liquid oils are measured out, as well as the oils and harder oils and butter. Next I'm going to microwave the hard oils and butters, and then I'll set it aside so it can cool off, and then I will also then just mix them all together along with the lye, and that's when we'll use our stick blender. Alright, so I have my hard oils in the microwave, and we are going to start it at 2 minutes, and keep an eye on it. You don't want the oils to burn at all, so we're going to just wait till it melts down and then give it a stir. Looks like it's a beautiful day out. Most of our snow has melted. It's early January, and 2 days ago this was all covered with snow, but it's been in the 40s, so it's been melting a bit. And the oils are starting to melt slowly. We've got 56 seconds left. Looks good. Now we're just gonna go ahead and stir this again and let it cool off, maybe for like an hour or two. I soap at room temperature, so it's easier to do swirls and other fancy designs. That's just my preference. A lot of people do soap between 110 and 130 degrees. It's all on what you prefer. So I'm just waiting for my oils to cool down. These ones obviously were already at room temperature, but these ones, use my little infrared thermometer to take the temperature here. That's at 102, and then my lye solution here over in the sink is at 112. I usually soap around, I wait for it to get below 90 degrees just so the batter is more fluid to work with. It's just my preference. In the meantime, I also measured out my fragrance oil here. I just put it in a little glass container, and I looked it up on the website, and it said you can use a maximum of 6% of your oils. So I went ahead and did the 6% because I like a good smelling soap. it'll last longer in your soap, so that's what I did. And then I pre-mixed my colorants from Nurture. So they're just sitting here. That's the blue one, which I guess I put them away now. And then the white one. I don't want this soap to be too white, as I'm looking for more of a sand color, but as you can see, these oils, this would be the rice bran and the castor oil, and these are the butters that are cooling off, but it'll be a darker colored soap. This one almost looks like I used olive oil, but it's rice bran oil that was pretty dark there. So yeah, once these cool off and the lyes cool off, then I'll mix those together with the Smart Stick Blender here, and we can get our soap process going, and we can go ahead and do that tiger stripe with these colors. Oh, one more thing, I wanted to show you guys what I got for Christmas from my boyfriend. He bought me some cute little soap molds. Look at these. These are cats. I just thought these are like so cute. These ones are little fish. So I can have fun kind of experimenting with embeds. I never have used embeds in soap. And then he got me some like little snowflake ones for the winter. These ones are bigger. I'm planning on, you know, putting some soap in here, but also using them for lotion bars, because I've made those before and I really like how they moisturize your skin. Here's the other mold my boyfriend got me for Christmas, silicone, and this is for my honey oatmeal soap that I make. So look at it's cute. It's got little bees in there, so that will be really fun to use as well. Alright, we're back. So I waited until the oils and the lye were at the temperatures I wanted for room temp, and I went ahead and I poured my liquid oils into this bigger bowl, which had the coconut oil, the palm oil, and the lard. So all of the oils have been incorporated in this bigger bowl, and what we're about to do is we're going to pour the lye solution, which was my aloe vera juice and the lye. We're going to pour it into this big bowl with the oils, and you're going to want to make sure you have your goggles on and your gloves. Make sure you're well protected, and we're just going to pour this down the shaft of the stick blender, trying to avoid as many bubbles as you can, which doesn't always work out the way I want it to. So make sure you get all that liquid out. And next we are going to stick blend this, just to make sure the oils and lye blend together and are all incorporated. Give this a little stir beforehand. This out of the way. Alright, I like to just kind of give this a stir, kind of tap in the bottom, make sure you get those air bubbles out, and then start your blender. Blend it. So I'm gonna actually blend it for a little bit and then stir it. When I start to get too many bubbles is when I stop and just stir those all in. So I haven't quite reached a thick trace, which is what I want. I want a thinner trace, so I'm able to work with the soap batter a little more before, you know, it starts to thicken up and is harder to pour. Okay, so next I'm actually going to pour some of my white pre-mixed oils, or not oils, but the colorant, the mica, into this big bowl, so we can get more of a, not completely white, but just lighter color than it is. So we get like more of a sand color. Add just a little bit more here. Sorry you can't really see this. I don't have the proper setup yet to where I can put the camera overhead. So I'm going to pour half of my soap batter here into this funnel pitcher, and that's when we're gonna put the blue in there. Should get all that soap. And I'm gonna put a little bit more. Scrape the sides off there. I guess it would help if I had a better glass bowl, one that had like a funnel at the top, but I don't right now. Now I'm going to just dump in this blue mica, and it's probably going to be pretty gorgeous. Looks gorgeous in the cup. Okay, and then I'm just going to get my mini spatula here and incorporate that in. My batter is still nice and fluid. This is a nice shade. It's kind of a greenish sea blue, greenish blue color. I'm just mixing that in the best I can here. Stripe. Got my mold here. I think I'm going to start off with the blue. So how I'm going to do this, and I know I can't show you too well right now, but I'm just going to start at one of the corners here and just pour kind of down the side. So, you know, it'd be white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue until you're done. And you kind of want that to be even as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with this blue. It'll be easier with the funnel pitcher, obviously. I'm just going to pour slowly, a little bit at a time. Okay, so you can kind of see what it looks like so far. I'm just going to show you, it's kind of hard to do with the camera in my hand, but I'm just going to pour down the side here. I don't know if you can see that. You just alternate between the blue and the sandy color. It's just like the circles pour into each other. I like doing the tiger stripe. I haven't done it too many times, but I think it's just lovely. And I wish you guys could smell this. It smells divine. Okay, we've reached the end stage. So here we're doing the top. I kind of ran out of blue. I should have, I guess, dispersed the colorants more evenly, so I kind of, you know, ran out of room to do my tiger stripe completely. So I had to basically just pour the remaining white on top of the rest, which I'm sure it'll still come out fine, but it's not quite what I intended. Okay, so now this last part, we're just going to kind of, I think I'm going to start in the corner here and just kind of do like a swirl. And then I'm going to start in this corner and kind of do the same thing. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am about to take my soap out of this mold. I pulled it away from the sides. It looks like it is definitely ready to be taken out. So just give me a second and I'll get the rest of it out and we'll start to cut it. Okay, I have just unmolded the soap and it was pretty easy to get out of there. I do like silicone molds, but sometimes, you know, the edges will get kind of just bump. You gotta buff them up a little bit, but this looks like it's gonna be a gorgeous loaf. What I'm gonna do is use my cheese wire cutter. You can get this at Walmart or Amazon. I'll put a link below. I got mine off Amazon, and I've had it about 2 years. It's been pretty reliable. Now my boyfriend is working on a like a soap cutter for me, so that'll probably be done maybe within a month or so. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. I'm really excited for that. So I'm just going to start cutting this with my wire cutter and holding it pretty still. I usually just do an end piece. I like to see how it came out. Ooh, looks pretty good. Maybe not as defined as my last tiger stripe one was, but that's okay. Like I said, this one, there were a few issues. First being that I ran out of my palm oil, and I had to substitute the other half for lard, which is fine. So that was kind of the first hiccup. And then when I was pouring, I guess I didn't do the blue batter. I didn't have it even with the sandy colored white batter. So towards the end, there ended up being more white than blue. Not a huge deal, but you know, sometimes your soap doesn't always turn out exactly the way you had it envisioned, but it's still soap. It'll still clean you. It's fine. All right, we're gonna do the next piece here. Yep, and that is the very pretty, clean looking bar of soap. And it smells excellent. Now you don't have to use gloves when you cut your soap. Sometimes I do just because it's kind of like sticky and I just don't really want to deal with that all over my hands. Even though it is soap, it's fine. It's whatever you want to do. I am going to have to clean off the tops of this soap and kind of level it out a little more. But yeah, that is pretty. I think it came out pretty well. And this is the Abalone Sea scent. I kind of wipe off the wire here after each cut, just to get that excess soap off of there for a clean cut. The next one. So not a well-defined, not thin tiger stripes, but it's still a swirl of some kind. And it does look kind of beachy, which is the intent. And the cool thing about soap is they all come out different. There's a different design for each bar you cut. That's one of the most fun things in soap making, in my opinion. Each bar is unique. Kind of keeps me coming back for more anyway. This one. So the white on this soap definitely came out more just because, you know, I ended up having more of that in the end. I'm actually going to cut this end piece, just get rid of that end.